Uni Rugby presents HonestRugbyChat by Cameron Petrie, and this is episode 7. And tonight we only have Ali on.
Hello, ladies and gents.
There we go. We wanted William on as well, but he seems to have vanished into the mist of the night. So we had to start it. Anyway, let's go straight in. Did you catch Bath v Worcester? I should say Worcester v Bath because it was in 6 ways. What a game of rugby.
That was brilliant. Yeah, I did catch that one. I took a real close interest in that. I thought that was brilliant. I thought, 46-25 it was the end to Bath. I thought Worcester, probably the score wasn't very flattering for how good they were, but it was brilliant entertainment. So good. It
was fantastic, wasn't it? I was really impressed with it. Tapawai is so underrated. I swear he is underrated.
It's weird because just before he got injured, he kind of went off the boil a little bit, and then I don't know whether it was because he had a niggle that then ruled him out, but yeah, Friday night he was ridiculous. He was making breaks, he was bumping people off, he was sitting people down in defence. He got a good kicking game on him as well. It's kind of like a nonu at times.
He's ball carrying. So he was taking some hard lines off Priestland as well. He's really crashing through through defences. I know Worcester lost quite heavily, but I thought they played pretty well. I was really happy with Ryan Mills. The distribution is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I have been talking about this guy for months, and he's really starting to get some recognition now. I think he's brilliant. I think he is to Worcester as Owen Farrell is to England. In that 12 role where he distributes, it's so good because he's a big lad. He can put people down in defence, but he's got this really nice kicking game for touch. And he's kicked more than the first few crossfield kicks for their tries for Bryce Heem and Josh Adams.
I'm so that is the best comparison I've ever heard. As Owen Farrell is to England, it's so true. Honestly, left, right, just 30-metre passes off the left hand, diagonal straight over like the on-rushing defence. It's absolutely. He's a beautiful player.
He's so good. I think he could have been Owen Farrell's backup in the England squad if he had a little bit more star power. If you know what I mean, a little bit more X factor. I think Farrell. I mean, you wouldn't call Owen Farrell an X factor player, but what he does. He is the best fly half in the world at the short and medium passing game. And obviously reading the plays and everything. I think Mills he isn't there with that. He hasn't got the 100% world-class skill set quite. It's brilliant, but it's not world-class like Farrell's. So I don't think he's going to break into the England squad. But if he did suddenly step up, he would be pretty like-for-like swap for Farrell if Farrell goes down.
I agree. I actually think he'd be comfortable as well. I don't think if you've seen it multiple times. So with England without Farrell, the game management goes. Obviously, you lose that world class kicking. Obviously, and I think Ford really struggles then because he hasn't got that the guy inside him, sort of just giving him, I guess, a bit of comfort.
It's also quite similar with who was to have had a 10 recently, John O'Lards, who. He got injured and he's now headed back to Australia. But it was again quite similar to Ford. Relatively small stature, quite good at making breaks himself. Had his issues with kicking. It sounds very very similar to the Ford Farrell matchup.
That is true. That is true. That is a loss for them as well. I would love Worcester's back three, by the way. I don't think I'm annoyed about is Chris Pennell. Like Worcester were in a championship. Like he just stuck with them just because he's such a loyal guy. But he could have he could have been playing as rugby in the Aviva for most teams, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think he could well have done. I mean, specialist fullbacks and quality specialist fullbacks—they're not the most common thing around, are they? He could have, a good few years ago, he could have been in. He might have, we might have seen him more as Brown's backup.
Definitely, and huge shout out to Bryce Heem and Josh Adams. I think Josh Adams on 9 tries now.
He is doing very nice.
Rob Howley was watching him. Howley, Wales, you don't put him in your squad, you've got serious issues. Honestly.
Unless they find they can't because they need to include certain other players, that are in England, like a quota, I'd understand. But if they have the ability to pick him and don't, it's just kind of another nail in the coffin of people criticising how he's attacking.
He has to be. He has to be chosen. He's top try scorer in the Premiership, isn't he? I think he is.
I don't have that to hand. I can find it.
Yeah, go on. Well, I say that. Actually, we'll do. We'll move on. I'll ask you about Northampton. Did you see Northampton Gloucester?
I did. I've seen it. I've seen all the games this weekend.
Finally. Finally, but was it justified? Was it justified? Was that a try at the end?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it was.
Was it? You reckon that was a penalty try at the end?
Yeah, I call it fair. Yeah.
Oof, I feel a bit sorry for Andy Simmons. I guess he did come in from the side. I don't know. I wasn't even sure if he was a. He got a yellow for that, didn't he? Simmons, the 12.
He did. Yeah, he did get yellow.
Yeah, he did get a yellow.
You are right, by the way. Josh Adams is top of the try scoring list at 9.
He is. He's top try scorer in one of the best leagues in the world. He has to be in the Wales squad. Who's he get? George North's injured, so he won't be picked in the original squad. So it's Amos at the moment. Who else would it be? Amos, Stephen Evans. At the bottom of that's looking pretty slim.
It is, but I mean, obviously, Liam Williams is he rumoured to be fit at the beginning of the Six Nations, or?
I think so.
So obviously, if he's fit, you wouldn't be surprised just to see Halfpenny stay at fullback, Williams in the wing, and then Amos. On one of the wing. Cuthbert, I can't really.
No, you can't.
I don't think he's going to be in, just because obviously as well, there's a lot of talk at the moment about him going to France or England.
Yeah, well, he's confirmed he's leaving Blues at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was they didn't select him because he was leaving. The All Blacks do that quite a lot with players.
Yeah, I know Ireland have done it as well now. Just because Zebo is announced he's going to Montpellier, isn't it?
Yeah, but then in fairness, Ireland have a bucket load of young outside back talent to develop. It's ridiculous. Whereas you can't really say the same of Wales at the moment because of the injuries.
It's very true. Another man I reckon whose name should be in the hat, whether he gets picked or not is a different question. Alan Brew.
Oh, Brew. He is doing very well. It's strange. He's just suddenly it's like it was all a mental thing, and his confidence is just unleashed his potential. And he's sitting people down in defence and and with the ball. It's really impressive. He showed it
in the air as well. He's been taking some fantastic high balls and cross kicks and everything. This ball carrying, though, as you just said, like it seems to take like two guys to get him down. He's a serious weapon.
He's just so broad chested, isn't he?
He is. He's a big guy, Brew. He's powerful as well. He's not just like I always thought of Dragons, like near the end of his career, Dragons. I thought he was very immobile for a winger.
See, as it's well known, I don't watch any the Pro 14. I've not seen him before until he was in the Premiership, and I saw the signing and I heard people saying about him. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a bit of a wasted signing. And all of a sudden, who's this?
Yeah, no, I'm not joking. I was one of the first guys to jump on his back completely, just because he was struggling to get in the Dragons A side. So I was thinking, why the heck are you signing a guy who's struggling to get in Dragons' second team? And Bath are a far better team than Dragons. That's not me being arrogant. That's a fact. So I was thinking that's just completely crazy, but he's completely proved me wrong. He's been fantastic. Arguably one of the best players. This season.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of these things again where mentality sometimes proves to be the most important part of sport. When it makes the difference. I mean, unless I'm wrong and he had injuries and he's suddenly fit, then I'm talking out my backside. But it just seems that if you've got the right mentality, you could be playing in the Championship, and then if the snap your fingers and you've got the same mentality as an All Black, you could be in the England squad.
Yeah, but Bruce seems a massive confidence player as well, though.
There's a lot of those. Bath have a history with confidence players, don't they?
They seem to. They do seem to. Priestland is definitely that at 10. Definitely that.
Yeah, and George Ford was before him as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I thought Ford played some great rugby at Bath most of the time.
Oh, he did. When on the lead up to his England, before he played for England, so in the 2013-14 season, just before he broke through, he was unbelievable. I know he was in one season. He was, getting my words out. He'd beaten more defenders than anyone else in the entire squad during the season. No one else had beaten more defenders than him at 10.
Well, there we go. And he takes it so flat to that line every time. He's brilliant at bringing other people into play as well. I'm not sure if the move to Tigers was a good decision for his career.
I think it was, but it's tough. To the club itself, yes. To the way this team is at the moment, no. There is issues there.
Yeah,
but it's himself and Ben Youngs. I think at the moment. So you see the best of them when they're in England because they've got this dominant pack that very rarely gets anything less than parity.
It's true.
It seems whenever they're behind a pack on the back foot, they don't really seem to be able to adapt their game, and they're struggling because they're not used to it. It looks like, or they should be used to it. They should be able to adapt to it, and they're not.
Yeah, that's very true, and you are correct though. England don't really get dominated, do they? No, ever really. Well,
we weren't. I wouldn't call it dominated, but we got pretty shut down by Ireland.
Yeah, shut down's the right word. I wouldn't say we're dominated though. They just tactically had us to a T, and we couldn't get any ball from lineouts.
I've actually later on when we move on from all the club stuff, I want to mention a couple of points on that actually. So we will be circling back to that later.
There we go. I look forward to that. Anyway, we'll run through the V results now. So basically, well done to Northampton. Finally won after I think 7 losses in a row. And they got 22-19 win against Gloucester. Opinions on that, Ali? Quickly.
So I thought it kind of came down to who made least mistakes. Both Gloucester and Saints, they had plenty of errors. Obviously, Saints have been like that for a while. Gloucester hadn't been this bad recently, and it just seemed to me that Gloucester lost it really more than Saints won it. But don't get me wrong, Saints were much improved. They were much more physical, much more imposing. But it just seemed to me like Gloucester just they didn't throw it away, but they didn't do enough to win it, and Saints just stepped up and made less errors in a high error game. Yeah,
hopefully Saints have some newfound confidence now, but they've got a very tough game on Saturday. We'll against Claremont at home.
Yeah, well, it's a shame William isn't here because he is our Claremont man. I was hoping he could talk about it, but I mean, there's lots and lots of injuries in that Claremont squad.
They just lost 58-6 to Racing Metro away.
Yeah,
which is an absolute murdering. So the whole thing's bizarre. I saw William said he wants the whole team to start doping so they get injured less.
We definitely here at HonestRugbyChat podcast, we do not condone illegal substances. I'm just going to throw that in there.
Advocate steroids and growth hormone. Wait, I didn't say that. Anyway, we'll go on to. As a Quins fan, I was devastated that they lost 30 points to 29 to Sale. That game was actually in our hands, and then someone decided to try to take someone's head off with his shoulder.
Danny Kerr, was it?
Marcus Smith.
It's becoming a cliche. It's becoming a cliche now. Marcus Smith is reckless.
So reckless. He's so reckless. His aggressive, not innocent looking face.
No.
He loves taking out.
No way or means looks like he's just come out of kindergarten.
Yeah, he doesn't take people out on the sly. Anyway, Joe Marler, what the heck? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Joe, I love you. Okay, for England and for Quins, great servant. Was there any need to do that? Who did he do it to again?
TJ Ioane.
TJ Ioane. The big bulldozing flanker with the dreads. Yeah. I just completely unneeded, and he's definitely going to miss. Well, to be honest, if he's going to miss a game, I'd rather him miss Italy.
Yeah, but then, Italy game is a month today. I genuinely think he's going to get a really lengthy ban because he, he's only didn't he get banned and miss the beginning of the November internationals?
Oh gosh, he did. He missed the Argentina game, didn't he?
He missed the Argentina one.
Oh no, gosh.
I think they're going to ban him. A lot longer because of his. It's such a short time. You can't show remorse in November, and then in January you're doing something equally as bad again. It's
just dumb. So who's your replacement? Who's your starting loose head and replacement loose head then for that Italy game for England?
So it is. See, I think people are not going to like me. But I don't think there's many other options. So obviously the other options at loose head that are tried and tested at international level are Matt Mullen from Wasps and Ellis Getch from Tigers. They're both injured right now. Now I think Mullen would definitely still be out at the start of Six Nations, but Genge, he's got a raised fitness and he might be back. He might be, labelled as fit. He won't be fully fit, 100% fixed, but fit enough to play a game from the bench. But I don't think they're going to risk him because I don't think it's worth it. And I think Jones is going to play Abano, who I have looked at a lot this week.
Yeah, I can see that because everyone else just seems a bit touch and go, don't they?
I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, it's the Italy game. Like, all respect to Italy. I mean, they nearly pulled a fast one on us last year, but I just don't think putting an uncapped loose head prop on the bench is going to cost you much.
You'd imagine not, but we are playing them away, and they were a bit of a banana skin last year at home. I mean, I know we won, but scored 5 tries at the end. But
are we definitely playing them away?
It's definitely away. Last year was in Twickenham.
Yes, you are right.
So this year is away, and I even that I can just see this crisis of it being like 10-9 to Italy or something, and and like Vunipola getting injured, like. And then a Barn having to come on to win us this scrummage to get a penalty to win the game or something, and then that's the only thing going through Jones's mind. But then again, if it's not a Barno, who else is it?
Well, that's the thing. The only other options really behind him is kind of Alec Hepburn has. When Jones first came in, he liked the look of him, but he'd been injured for a very long time, and he's not quite hitting the straps he was. Alex Waller had been very consistent for Saints, very good, but he's out injured long term, and Jones hasn't really ever shown him any favour. The only other real possibility who's fit would be Ross Harrison from Sale.
I was about to say Ross Harrison's would probably be a wise choice as well.
Yeah, he could be, but
there is actually deceptive depth there, even after all those first guys are all injured and dead. There is still depth there, which is very impressive.
There is a lot, but I think we also need to mention Nathan Catt from Bath, who is a brilliant, absolute savage of a loose head prop.
How did we not mention him? That's bad. That's really bad for us.
He's just always injured. Bath have had awful luck with front row injuries in the last 2 seasons, but he's been injured a lot. It's the same with Henry Thomas. Those two could so easily start for England and stand toe to toe with any front row.
Henry Thomas, I'm a huge fan. He just got off the radar just because he gets injured all the time. So upsetting. I remember like 4 years ago, he was like 2014, I think it was 2013. He was just coming on the scene, and he was pushing down Cole then.
He was, yeah.
Paul Hill as well.
Sorry?
Paul Hill, Saints tight head. He's been just pushed out, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, but I just think it's the same thing has happened to all the tight heads that have gone to Saints. Kieran Brooks when he left Falcons to go to Saints, Paul Hill when he left Leeds to go to Saints, and Ford Robinson has only just left Bristol to go there. But so nothing's happened there yet. But Hill and Brooks seem to have just gone off the boil since they've got there. I mean, maybe is that Is that Dorian West's fault? There's been a lot of blame left at his door recently for Saints issues.
It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. I'm not going to blame anyone, but it does seem to be a coincidence. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
That two tired props that were pushing Dan Cole for his jersey and that were on the bench consistently seem to have completely gone off the radar since going to Saints. I mean, that's a pretty big coincidence. But yeah, I by the way, I think Harlequins would have won that match if Marla didn't get sent off.
Yeah, they could have done. But I mean, I think got a huge credit to Will Addison of Sale. He was supposed to be on the bench. Dennis Solomona dropped out just before the match with a shoulder injury, and Addison was unbelievable. He was so good. He was like Elliot Daly for England. You know, he's got the pace. He's got real work rate, and he can pass the ball really nicely.
His offloading game was really good as well. He did an offload for one of the tries early on. I think it might have been McGuigan's try early on. I think he did the offload over the top, I think, for that.
And that was was it not Van Rensburg's try? Didn't he offload it to Curry, who gave it to Van Rensburg?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. He's been a good signing as well, Van Rensburg. He's so quick for a guy that big. It's crazy.
He's very similar to a Tuilangi, isn't he?
He is. He's massive. He's absolutely massive, Van Rensburg. Go on.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say, you said he's been a very good signing. I've actually been a little bit disappointed. I mean, obviously he has been a very good signing, but I don't think he's been as good as I thought he was going to be. In Super Rugby, he has been unbelievable.
I don't think he's the man he was a year ago, though.
The whole reason. Oh, sorry. No, you go on.
No, seriously, you go.
Obviously, the reason he's come to Sale is because he was injured for quite a long time, and he wanted to get some match fitness in before he went back to Super Rugby. So I guess that's why he's here, is to play himself back into fitness. Yeah,
and you can see that the way he's playing, he's not as mobile as he was in Super Rugby. I've noticed that. Because the way he's playing for the Lions, I've seen other journalists on Twitter also tweeting the same thing. Like, I'd have been a lot more excited about this signing if it was a year ago.
Which is fair.
Which is a fair enough stat. I still think he's done well. His distribution is pretty solid. And as Crashball 12s go, I mean, he's going to go forward. Tigers, again, pretty... I say that I felt like they grinded the win out, and I think London Irish actually played really well. I think they played really well. Alex Lewington is a very good player. I can see him signing for no offense to Irish, a bigger club. Plus, Irish look like they are going to go down. Do you see that game? Any opinion? What's your opinion on Tigers on the way up?
No, not really. I thought that was. I mean, there were some improvements there in the way that we spoke about it last week. The inclusion of Brendan O'Connor made a big difference. He was much, much better than Mike Williams at 7. He linked with the play well. And for the rumours, this isn't confirmed, but a lot of the chat is that the reason he wasn't being selected is because Matt O'Connor didn't think there was a need for an open side with the new changes to the ruck clause, but he got a good few jackling turnovers in that game.
He did, and his offload for the try was awesome as well. His link-up play is actually very underrated as well.
It is. Well, yeah, it is, and it's very good. I really don't understand why they weren't starting him. They wanted physicality, but it just wasn't. I just think it was a shame to have lost what he offered, and hopefully now they start him when the Premiership starts back up again.
I sort of understand where they're coming from, though, Ali, because like they do lack ball carriers. Even saying that, I really wasn't. Who were they starting ahead of him anyway?
Mike Williams at 7.
Yeah, but yeah, they had so Calf Money was at 8, and who was at 6 then? Hamilton. No.
Yeah, but you know what?
Fitzgerald.
Williams and Hamilton actually rotated a little bit between 6 and 7 between them.
Yeah. It's I'm a huge fan of Hamilton as well. Actually, I think O'Connor does deliver more balance to the back row.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's just not been. The balance hasn't been good enough, has it?
It hasn't. It really hasn't. I'm really happy for Newcastle Falcons. Great win at home to Exeter. Obviously, great win at home to Exeter, the champions of England, and the powering top of the league. Did you see the try from Snotty? What a step!
That man. I said this on Twitter earlier. You know those kung fu films where the main guy is like ridiculously good and no one can physically touch him. It's like that at times.
He's such again. I really want to know what's in like Pacific Islanders genes because he's such a big man. I know he's not tall, but he's like he's wide, and the way he how is he that mobile and that big? I don't understand it. Like Ali, how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
You're 6 foot. So he's 5'11". How much do you weigh?
Right now.
Kilos?
95.
Oh, you do weigh 95.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay, well, okay. I was about to say that's reason, but no. But okay, try being 5'9", then weighing 100.
That's not how tall he is it?
He's 5'9". He's 5'9".
Jeez.
Yeah, I just checked. He's 5'9". I thought he was 5'11". He's 5'9" and 100 kilos. I'm giving you perspective. I'm like 5'7", 5'8", and I'm like 77 kilos. And I'm not joking. I feel comfortable this way. I'd say. So I can't imagine being an inch or two taller and weighing 100, and then being able to move like he does. It just does. It defies any sort of logical way of being. I just don't understand how he does it. Great player, but the backline is so good now. Like you got Flood there conducting the show. You got Snotty, Chris Harrison, Gonover. Huge fan of Simon Hammersley at the back as well.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's
majestic, isn't he?
He's a tidy little player, isn't he?
He's very tidy. He makes everything look very tidy though. Even when like someone's jumping on his back and like pulling him to the ground, he always seems to like sort of trot away.
Yeah, it's nice. I can't see him ever breaking through any higher than where he is at the moment. Like England wise, but it's impressive. He's good.
He's definitely good enough for a fullback, though. I would say for Falcons.
Yeah, the Premiership side.
He's a Prem fullback for most teams. Where did they go wrong for Exeter, or did Newcastle just blitz them in that first half and leave them with too much to do?
So I really think Exeter completely underestimated Newcastle. Because, you look at how many first-team players they rested. They had... Where are my notes? One second. So they rested Harry Williams at tight head, Johnny Hill in the second row, Sam Skinner in the second row, Don Armand and Henry Slade was on the bench. I think Luke Karen-Dickey was injured, which is why he wasn't in the match day 23 at all. So I think they went in, and I don't think they gave Newcastle enough credit, and it looked like Newcastle shocked them, and they just Exeter, it knocked them so much they couldn't get back into their rhythm. They just knocked them for 6.
They did win the second half, Exeter, but I don't know. Does that stat mean anything? No, not really.
No, it's not if you're going to concede that many points in the first half.
Yeah, 25-3 down, weren't they, first half? That's a lot to come back from, especially against Falcons. It's a very tough place to go, Kingston Park, and they're very comfortable on that 4G surface too. It's going to take a good side to beat them there. Quins was so close. They lost by 1 point there. So annoying.
I've got so much time for Newcastle. I love what Dean Richards is going there. But it's getting going there. Yeah.
They came 8th last year though. He was I know for a fact because I talked to him. He was disappointed with like their 11th place finishes like 2-3 years ago. And then the last year they finished 8th, but they were really hoping to finish top 6. So this year, if he doesn't get at least top 6, I know he'll be gutted. But I think the aim is top 4 because they're really 2 points off. We're not talking about it being October, November, December. It's January now. So they are really in with a shout for that. And Exeter, I think that even though they make rotations, their squad is still so strong. Having Dave Ewers come in, he was like talk about being England's next blindside flanker when Jones came in.
Ewers, is this, sorry?
Yeah, I was saying Dave Ewers coming in for Don Armand. It's not exactly a bad replacement, is it? It's not.
It's pretty good. I mean, I think Ewers is still he's still finding his form, but yeah, he's brilliant. When he gets going, you're gonna need a truck to stop that man.
I know he runs like he's got a fridge on his back though, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, it's I think it's his spine. He's naturally just a bit kyphotic with his spine, which he just looks a bit odd, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think he's Zimbabwean though. I think originally
he is Zimbabwean born. Yeah, I don't know when he came over.
Yeah, says we. I was about to say something about his genetics, but he's probably originally European anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Maybe he was originally Dutch, like the white Afrikaans, who all seem to be absolutely massive, like Bismarck Duplessis. Anyway, last Aviva game, Wasp Saracens. Well, it's pretty simple, isn't it? Sarries back on track. Just completely and utterly gave it to Wasps in the backyard. Willie the Roo still played really well, though. His tackling was a bit dodgy, though. But again, I'm probably being a bit harsh there. What was your opinion on the game? Obviously, Big Billy's back, isn't he?
Oh, Big Billy! I cannot state enough how in awe I was of him. I'd forgotten how ridiculously unstoppable he was. He's not necessarily breaking through and making 20-meter breaks, but you can't stop him. He takes the ball static and he runs into two defenders and he still makes a meter or two.
Well, he got through them. And then another two jumped on his back and dragged him to the ground. It's very funny. When he first came on the scene, he was a lot larger and his body fat was a lot higher and everything. And he seemed to be harder to tackle then. He then lost weight. It wasn't as hard to tackle, and he's got injured again now and come back. And he seems to be harder to tackle again. I think he's kept his power the same it was when he was bigger, but he's got lighter. So I think he's obviously carrying less weight, which means he can push more force out.
Yeah, exactly.
And he seems like in a very good state at the moment, physically.
Yeah, he does. I was a bit worried, because obviously he came back from a similar injury in the Six Nations last year for the last game. He came straight from being not fit to starting, and he looked sluggish. He didn't look good. And this time he came in and he was like he's never been back. It's like he's come off the back of the Lions tour with momentum. It was brilliant.
Well, that's maybe these injuries, right? I think they're a bit of a physical and mental layoff for players.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I have a close friend. I'm not gonna say his name because he'd be out of order. But he's had a knee injury, and he's playing I guess professional standard rugby. And he's been flat out for probably 3 years now. Having a game every 2 weeks at least. At the biggest holiday he's had in probably 3-4 years is 2 weeks. From not playing. Yeah. 10 days maybe even a week. Not much. So he plays probably once, twice a week.
It makes a big difference when they haven't got that workload, doesn't it?
Exactly. So he's had that injury, and he's had an injury recently. He's been out for 3-4 months, and I think it's just helped him mentally. It's probably the most out of everything. Because when you're playing a game a week, and if you're on loan, you can play 2 games a week sometimes. It just give you a bit of a mental break and sort of just chill out for a bit, I guess. And then also when you come back, then I think you appreciate playing more. Then,
enjoy it a bit more.
Exactly. So I think maybe that helped Billy, even though Billy would probably be massively frustrated because he didn't have an injury that long ago, did he? This time last year. So yeah. Anyway, Sarries, they've won again, second in the Prem. Do you see them? Well, they're only 5 points behind Exeter now. As long as you finish first or second, do teams really care about who comes top? Because it doesn't make you win it, does it?
I think there's a little bit of bragging rights, but ultimately not really. I think you could take confidence away from it, but that's about it. But obviously Wasps top of the league last year, and they didn't win. I don't think you don't really hear too much of them being like, we have the right because we were top of the league. That all the chat is about how they weren't happy with not winning the final. Exactly.
Quinn's in 9th as well. Oh, God, I'm being very I mean, very harsh because if they're only, I mean, they're 1 point off 7th, and 4 points off 6th as well. So
yeah, that middle section of the board is very, very, very congested.
It's extremely congested, to say the least.
Just quickly, one last thing on Wasps. I was a bit disappointed. Obviously, they could have won that game. When at the end of half time and beginning of second time, they had a 2-man advantage. There was 2 Sirismen and Bin. They should, they are supposed to be the best attacking team in the Aviva Prem, maybe in Europe at times at the best, but they couldn't because they rushed things, and there were times when they had a brilliant opportunity of set piece. Robson then threw the ball quickly, a bit rushed to Cipriani's feet. He just catches it. He then throws it, and then Willie Leroux knocks it on, turn it for possession, and Surrey's eke out the clock. They rushed it. They just don't seem like they've got the mentality of a winning team.
Yeah, just overplaying it a bit.
Yeah, exactly that. They've got so much potential. If they had the same mindset and patience as the Saracens, they'd be world beaters at the moment.
Yeah, but you go across that back line though. You got guys there who are raw. Like even Marcus Watson's quite a raw player. Cipriani, Robson's actually very level-headed. So it's very unlike him.
I know. And maybe that's something Eddie Jones has spotted. Maybe that's why he's not including him in any of the squads.
Well, I'd love to believe that was the reason, but I think Eddie Jones just hates everyone in that generation. He just
If you are under 28, get out. Just leave.
It seems if you're 28, it's not even that. It's like you're either really young, or like pretty experienced, or like decently like a reasonable age, like 30 years old, 29, 31. But if you're like 25 to 27, 28, playing well in the Aviva Premiership, you might have one captain name, one none. He just doesn't pick you.
No, well, I think it's to do with experience. Obviously, when he first came in, he wanted to keep a regular a regular level continuity, and then he's kind of added bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, it's just frustrating from my perspective. Look, I guess if like Youngs or Kerr get injured, you'll call someone up who's adequate. But for me, you call Robson, even Ben Spencer up. They're 2 suitable replacements for me. Easily good enough. I'd probably do them a world of. Imagine how happy they'd be just to be included in the England squad as a third choice, just to be in and around the squad. I don't see the trouble in that personally.
I mean, I don't either. I mean, obviously there must be some key reason Eddie isn't having more than 2 scrum halves. He obviously wants a lot of cohesiveness there, but. So I have a theory. I don't know whether I've mentioned this on the pod before. I've written about it a few times. I think he's going to completely cut out anyone who's kind of young and firing. I think he's going to go for experience. I just feel like that's the only reason he'd exclude someone for so long in the lead to a World Cup. Someone that can slot in and just do their role, like a Willie Hines or Richard Wigglesworth.
Exactly.
But then, is that the best choice really for? Maybe it is. Eddie knows more than us.
So you're saying you think a Hines or a Wigglesworth would be the best choice?
No, I'm not saying that'd be the best choice. I think that's what Eddie would do if either someone went down, or let's say he takes 3 scrum halves to the World Cup. I think he'll take one of the inexperienced head to slot in, just because obviously it's so last minute. It's not been someone who's been there throughout. It's a very intricate position. You have to know a lot.
That is true. And to be honest, I maybe would trust Willie. I'm not Wigglesworth because it just reminds me of 2015 World Cup. But I think I'd trust Hines over Wigglesworth, Robson, or Spencer, or someone like that to close out a game in the last 10 minutes.
See, I disagree on closing out a game. I think Wigglesworth might be better because he's more controlling. But I would take I would take Hines over Wigglesworth because he is much more attacking.
Yeah, Hines or Wigglesworth, I was meant to say really over Spencer Robson in the sense of just game management.
Yeah.
You're going to trust those guys more. So when it comes to that, I understand it. But then for me, good players win you games. So it's a hard one. I feel like Spencer and those guys possess more quality, but International rugby, controlling the game management and everything is so important. Hey, we'll see. But this is what we're doing. We're debating. Anyway, we were going to go... I can still go over Pro 14 myself. I know Ali doesn't take much interest in it.
Unfortunately.
So I'll go over it personally. We were going to go over top 14 because our friend William is a Claremont supporter and watches it very closely, but he's not here, unfortunately. So I'm not going to go over that and pretend I know what I'm talking about because that would be wrong. So Edinburgh hammered Southern Kings Friday night. Really disappointing Southern Kings. I mean, obviously they've come over from Super Rugby, and they were the worst African Super Rugby side, and they've been so poor in the Pro 14. They're bottom of the conference, below Dragons by 10 points. It's just disappointing, really, compared to how well the Cheetahs have been doing. You had Scarlets Dragons, which finished 47-13 as Scarlets. I saw the team sheets. I watched the games on a Friday night. And basically, Scarlets a lot more quality, a lot more experience. Dragons did have much quality and not much experience. And I remember saying to my friend, Dragons are going to get hammered. There's nothing else is going to happen. And what happened? They got hammered. And then Munster beat Connaught, Leinster beat Ulster, both pretty heavily. 39-13 in Munster got Connaught, and then Leinster beat Ulster 38-7. It really does seem Leinster and Munster are in control there when it comes to the Irish teams. Moving on, Zebra battled really hard against Glasgow at home. They lost 40 points to 20 in the end, but it's just really nice to see and pleasant to see the Italian teams are putting up far more of a fight this year than they have done previously. Obviously, if we look at the Pro 12 table, Zebra are bottom of their conference, but they're on 17 points. And if you actually put that as a whole league, they're actually above Dragons and Southern Kings. So, sorry, excuse me. That's really good for them. I'm really happy for them. Glasgow is still top of the entire Pro 14 and top of the Conference A. And then moving on, Osprey scraped a win against Cardiff Blues 29-28. Nick Williams at 8 again, completely barnstorming over people. He's just signed a contract extension, even though he's like 35 years old now. 33, 34, 35. You know, he's late. He's getting in his 30s, still carrying on. But his ball carrying seems to have really helped Blues this season. Even Osprey's got the win there at home, and Ospreys desperately needed that win because at the moment in the overall standings they're fourth bottom. And they're second bottom of their conference, which is not good enough at all. Because for a team that's been previous champions, of the Magnus League and Pro 12. And finally, it's actually a really good game. Treviso Cheetahs. And if you haven't seen it, Benetton Treviso, they won 27-21 against Cheetahs at home. Cheetahs are sort of my side, I guess, when it comes to Super Rugby. And I was absolutely gutted when they lost that game, even though it doesn't really seem to affect standings that much. They're still third in their conference, and I think overall they are. Or actually, they're quite low. I think overall they're actually like seventh because Edinburgh got 37 points. But they're only a point above Treviso now in the overall standings. So, but at the end, Treviso winger number 14, I can't remember his name. It's Sperandino, I think his name is. He did a kick over the top. He's about to catch the ball, about to dive, and the harsh bounce of the rugby ball. It just completely. He's like, Ali, this guy's about to catch the ball and dive, and he just the bounce it's like trickling into his hands, and the last bounce it just bobbles over his head.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then it was really harsh. But I mean, they'd already won the game anyway, so he just tackled the Cheetahs winger, Mambipi, over the dead ball line anyway. But
the Pimpy.
That's it, Mampimpy. There we go.
What a name!
You pronounced it. Thank you. I'm pronunciations is not my speciality, as you guys have probably realised. What's the winger again for London Irish? Cocker.
Cocker.
Nasiga. Cock and Nasiga. Cock and Nasiga.
Everyone says singer at the end, like he's just Cock and a singer. He's not a singer.
Cocker Nasiga.
Yeah, that's the one.
Cock and Nasiga. There we go. Repetition.
This is where we get loads of angry tweets
Repetition.
saying that I'm completely wrong.
Yes. We will definitely get that. Jokes. I don't know. Probably won't. Well, yeah, I've done my best to cover the Pro 14. As I said, I'm not going to cover... Anyway, yeah, Cheetahs, my boys, third in the Conference A. I don't see them... I mean, they're 13 points behind Munster and 28 points behind Glasgow, so I don't see them putting pressure on there. Cheetahs are so good at home. It's so disappointing when they play away. They're just not the same team. The teams rock up to Cheetahs and really struggle with the altitude. And they've beaten Leinster and Munster at home and Scarlets, but they're not the same team away. Fantastic seeing Treviso again. They're fifth in their conference ahead of Dragons and Southern Kings. And overall standings, Treviso are actually in front of Connaught, Cardiff Blues, Ospreys, and Zebra, and that's fantastic to see if you ask me. Because I know the Italian teams have been. That's the best place I think Treviso have been in the Pro 14 since like 2009, I think 2010. Obviously, it's 14 teams now, so you could say it's harder. So that's.
I'm really glad to see it, and I'm just wondering, is this a trickle down effect of Conor O'Shea at the in the Italian job?
I think it is. I think he's gone there. He's seen what's going on. Probably gone right. This is not good enough for what we want to be or aspire to be. And I think he's just put basic strength and conditioning probably in place, giving the guy some belief. Maybe I reckon he has talked to the teams on guys to sign to bring some quality to bring in if they need it, which I imagine they did, and just little stuff like that. And I think it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, which Italian team is Marty Banks playing for?
Oh, I forget.
Is he Zebra or Treviso?
Not this again. Marty Banks. Oh gosh, yeah. No, it's definitely Treviso. It's definitely Treviso.
Okay,
it's definitely Treviso.
Because he is a brilliant player. He was the guy that came on and kicked the points for Highlanders to beat the British and Irish.
Oh, of course he is that man. He is that. You should have seen that he put who did he put through? He put through so they got a winger Monty Ione. Treviso have got, and Marty Banks on the weekend. Honestly, just dummy back in, pop, perfect timing, and then Ione's over and scores. His hands are beautiful as well. But I mean, he's a New Zealand 10. So I mean,
yeah. It's just a shame for Italy. They can't. Yeah, everyone else is making the most of the residency period. It's a shame they couldn't get him when he was younger and have him as their 10, because that's kind of their big problem, isn't it? They fly halves for the Italian side. I
agree. I think they're going to have to wait 3 seasons. So how old is Marty Banks? He can't be that old, can he?
No, he is. I think he's like 29 or 28. He might even be 30 now. So he'd be too old really to get a significant, amount of time.
Yeah, they're pushing it there, aren't they? They're pushing it there.
I don't think that's the intention. I just think, obviously, I think I'm such a hypocrite because I hate the residency period thing, but I feel like it's kind of at the moment it's an even playing field, and I want to see Italy succeed. So if anyone's going to do it, I kind of wouldn't mind as much them doing it because I want to see them be competitive,
Yes, and we all know halfbacks make a world of difference to whatever standard of rugby you're playing.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. Anyway, should we go into Champions Cup? Looking forward.
Let's do it.
Because got some great cracking games coming up. Friday night, Bath Scarlets. What a game! What a game!
I've actually taken the liberty for all your listeners. I've got time kickoffs, and I've got the channel that these games are on just for you guys.
Well, that's a lot kinder than me. I haven't done that, so.
Well, so yeah, Bath Scarlet 7:45 on BT Sport 2. Take it away, Cameron.
Well, I was just going to say I think Bath are in the driving seat. They're in control of their fate, which is obviously a lovely place to be in. But Toulon are right behind them, so they need to win that game. And Scarlet's going to be really up for it because they're only a point. They're only a point behind too. But Bath know if they win, I mean, it's looking pretty good.
It is, but they're missing some quite key players. So Charlie Ewells, the second row, is out. He's at the moment, he's probably the fourth choice England second row, the way things are stacked up.
He's playing so well, isn't he?
I rate him so much. I think he's brilliant. He's Martin Johnson-esque, I reckon.
Oh, big statement.
It is obviously not. He's not as gritty, and he's not going to belt anyone around the ear. We can't these days anyway. But I just think he's more. He's not. He's not as outspoken. He's quite composed in his words. I rate him highly. But anyway, yeah. So they've got him out in the second row. Obviously, they've had Dave Atwood out for a long time in the second row.
Oh,
so they'll probably have James Phillips and Luke Charteris in the injury, which isn't bad. But obviously, when you're missing quality, you're missing quality.
Hey, James Phillips is a beast.
That was brilliant on the weekend.
Oh, don't honestly. What a laugh that was. Four men. He just swatted off like they were flies.
He completely skittled Chris Pennell out of the way.
Is there anything Pennell could have done there?
Well, I feel like Mike Brown would have made a tackle, but not much more.
If he'd gone in as hard as he could have, I don't know.
I don't think it's about hitting him hard. I think it's about the way you tackle him. Obviously, I don't think he got him in the right position. He went head on. You've got to hit bigger guys slightly on the angle, haven't you? Slightly to their side. It's
true, but if we all had that much time to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. When you see a unit run at you think,
just put your body there.
Yeah. Anyway, other names seeing Sam Underhill, England's first choice 7 at the moment. Francois Lowe, Springbok 7 is missing. No Falatau at 8, but Zach Mercer's obviously an awesome replacement. Matt Banahan is out, which is actually huge. He is brilliant for them. He's played 12, 13, on the wing at fullback. He's a big loss. And Rocco Daguni is still out injured.
Yes. It's funny how they can still put a very good side out considering all these injuries. That does show the depth of their squad. But even guys like Atwood are a huge loss. Dave Atwood's a very good player. He's fully fit.
And he's a big leader. He's a big leader there. But the thing is that he's been missing for so long now. They kind of adapted to him. So I wasn't going to mention him as much as some of the others.
I agree. But he'll be like a new signing when he's back. I just remember Atwood 2-3 years ago. He was playing really well.
Who out of interest? Who would you, if you have Luke Charteris, Charlie Ewells, and Dave Atwood all fit? Which one of those do you drop to the bench?
I think probably Atwood to begin with. But then if Atwood keeps coming, probably start Ewells and Charteris, drop Atwood, but then bring Atwood off the bench like a sort of rampaging bull for the last half an hour. Because his ball carrying and his tackling is very good. He's also pretty solid in the line now. But if he keeps playing to that level off the bench, I think Atwood at the moment, if he plays to what he can, I think he's still probably better than yours.
I disagree now. I'd say as of this season, I'd say Charlie Ewells is the nailed-on starter, and then 50-50 for Charteris and Atwood.
I would start Charteris just because of his line-out presence. He's so tall.
Yeah, that's fair. Should we crack on?
Let's actually fly through these games.
We're already at an hour and 20, aren't we?
No, we're not. We're at 53 minutes. But it's
ignore me then.
Sorry. No. I know the call is though. The call is. Yeah.
So we're just such great mates. We just couldn't stop talking.
Just chat. That's all we. That's all we do. I could have said something else then, but I'm not going to.
It's just stinging me out in journalism world.
I'm trying not to cough. It's so hard. Wait. Yeah,
I can take this one away. Actually, to be honest, you'd be better at this because the next matchup is Ulster La Rochelle on Saturday. You might know more than me here, I think.
Ulster at home are actually it's actually a very tough place to go. But away from home, they do concede tries, but that doesn't matter because they're home. La Rochelle are really going to want to win that game because they're only 2 points ahead of Ulster, and they'll come down with a big barnstorming pack. But I think Ulster are favourites. They haven't been in great form in the Pro 14, but And as we've seen, form, especially the Irish team, sort of translating over to the to the Champions Cup doesn't seem to go over. And also,
I don't know. I'd be favouring La Rochelle here.
Oh, I know La Rochelle are destroying the what's it called, the top 14. But they're so strong at home, but they are a different side away from home. Honestly, they really are. I think they're second in the top 14. But for me, I think La Rochelle are going to lose that game. It's Ravenhill is a tough place to go, Ali.
Yeah,
it's a really tough place to go. But if La Rochelle, if they do get dominance up front, then I can see them then sort of rolling over Ulster and going for them. But I think to even get that sort of leverage up front is going to be so hard because Ulster will be so up for it and in front of the home crowd, you know. And Ulster know if they win, they're in control of the group.
Yes, but then is their 10 going to be fit? Is Christian Leaguefano going to be fit? Didn't he bust some ribs at the end of his latest game?
Oh, he did. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. He's a huge loss. He has been amazing for them. They've actually signed Stephen Donald.
I saw the Aviva.
Yeah, I was surprised that I wasn't sure if Stephen Donald was still alive.
No, he's playing. He was playing well for the Chiefs. I think he slotted in at 12 a few times.
No. I think I'm only messing around. But as everyone else remembers, Stephen Donald, obviously from 2011, legendary. Came in as fifth, 4th choice because everyone started getting injured.
Well, he was fishing for whitebait, wasn't he?
He was overweight as well, but
because he'd been drinking on the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and eating crap and stuff. But there's a great story there. If you want to do that, Google that. Graham Henry has a story on it. It's fantastic. Definitely on YouTube somewhere. Anyway, again, we love tangents so much. Right, I'm going Ulster. What are you going for?
You've persuaded me. I'll go Ulster.
But
no, that's boring. That's boring. I'm going with La Rochelle. We're not here to just agree.
Okay, all right. Oh God, Quins Wasps. Oh God.
So anyway, just really quickly, just because I've mentioned it the other game, Ulster La Rochelle. So that's Saturday at 1 PM, and that's on Sky, not BT.
Yes, Ali. Remember to do that. This is your job.
I will. I'll say it at the beginning.
You're getting paid for it. Remember? Yeah.
So the next one is going to be your speciality here. So Quins versus Wasps, as you said, Saturday 5:30 PM on Sky. You are the Quins man. You go ahead.
Well, Harlequins have nothing to play for. They're sitting bottom with 2 points, pathetically. Completely out of it because Wasps are on 10, Ulster 13, La Rochelle 15. It's very funny. It's a sort of game Quins could really get up for, and if they play well enough, they could probably win at home because Quins in the Stoop are actually a very hard side to beat. They don't usually get hammered there. They always put up a fight. So I think they could actually potentially beat Wasps, but for the fact I know Wasps have got still a reasonable chance of qualifying for the knockout, for the quarterfinals, I think that might be too much because Wasps know Quins are like, well, we got nothing to play for, so they'll go out with no pressure. But I think Wasps have that extra incentive of knowing if they win, they could potentially still get to the quarterfinals, and I think that'll be a bit too much for them. And I also think Wasps have got a better team as well. So,
well, just to add to this conversation, then, this is breaking news now for us, but not for everyone listening to this. This is yesterday's news. Joe Marler has been handed a 6-week ban for his contact to the head of TJ Wani. So he won't be back until the 20th of February, so he'll miss England's first 2 rounds against Italy and Wales. But more relevantly right now, he will miss this weekend's game.
Damn. Yeah, that will actually that's going to hugely affect the match against Wasps. But again, it's a bit of a nothing match against Wasps, really. It really is. I imagine. I think Lewis Boyce will come in for him at loose head, who's pretty inexperienced.
It's not great.
So I see Wasps winning that game. And as England goes, I'm a bit worried now that Wales lose. Saying that, if it's Mako and Abano, bring it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring it on. Bring it on. That's what I say to the Welsh. Bring it on. Well, look, we've still got a month to go. We'll wait for all that, because that'll be a good laugh when it comes around.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we'll hold off though, because if we start going off now,
yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to say much more about the Quins game?
Look, Quins are going to lose. They really are. Wasps will win. They got more to play for. There's nothing else to it, really.
And Jake Cooper-Woolley at tight head to chew up Lewis Boyce.
Yes, very good shout. He will definitely do that. He will do that. I'm a big fan of Jake Cooper-Woolley. His carrying is very good as well.
I really rate him. I would not be upset to see him in the England squad. I'd be quite happy with that.
I would as well.
We have just accidentally skipped over the game before Quins Wasps, and that's Exeter Montpellier, Saturday 3:15 on BT Sport 2.
Oh gosh, sorry, yeah, I haven't done that. Yeah. BT Sport 2.
As we sort of mentioned earlier, they rested a fair few first teamers. I think probably, in preparation for Montpellier, this is the season. They've said that, we are going to have our real crack at the Champions Cup, because now they've won the Premiership. The next, they want to keep climbing. They rested, and now they're going to take Montpellier on. They're going to have rested. They're going to be annoyed from last week's game. I really think Exeter are going to steamroll Montpellier here.
I can't see a steamrolling, because Montpellier's pack is ginormous and they have freaks of nature like Pickamoles in it.
It is. Well, I don't mean steamrolling as in physically, but I think on the scoreboard, I think Exeter are going to put on quite a convincing win.
I think 15 points they'll win by, and I think they might get a try bonus.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll get a try bonus, and I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a 30-point victory. It wouldn't surprise me.
By 30 points?
I think anything higher than that, I'd be surprised. But if you told me it was 50-20, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I'm expecting a backlash, but I'm thinking, I agree with you, a minimum 15-point victory, I reckon. Yeah,
I agree. I say 15-point win, and I think they'll get a try bonus as well.
I'd go with that.
Yeah. So, and the next game is, we'll do Northampton and Claremont as well. I forgot about.
Yeah. I was just about to get onto that. Yeah. So Saints Claremont on the Saturday again. Lots of rugby Saturday. 5:30 kick-off on Sky.
Yeah, we know what's gonna happen. We know what's gonna happen there. Actually, yeah, you are correct.
Because Claremont are at the moment, I think they've just signed up the kitman to the European squad.
Oh my gosh!
they're pulling people in from the streets. They're struggling, aren't they, injury-wise?
It's shocking. What the heck? What is happening there with the injuries? It's really shocking. I know that the top 14 is not going very well for them.
It's just bad luck, isn't it? I mean, Wasps had at the beginning of the season where they had, for a 23-man squad, they had 24 players to pick from at one point. It's just luck of the draw.
It's true, yeah. And to be honest, Northampton will have confidence and they want to win again for their fans. Claremont have just come off a 58-6 hammering from Racing Metro. With all the injuries they have as well, it's not an impossibility to see Northampton winning that game. I think Claremont still have a bit too much. I think they'll win by around 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, this is one where I wouldn't be surprised if Saints came in and won this one, just because of Claremont's injuries. But yeah, you probably are right. Claremont probably will squeak it.
Yeah, I think they'll squeak it, but I think Saints will push them, and that will be good for them in itself.
It'll be really, really good for them, especially after they win over Gloucester.
Exactly. And I think the fans will realise that. Right, this is the game of the weekend. I know William has been licking his lips, which is a real shame what he's not on, because he would have really enjoyed this.
It's the game of the weekend.
Well, it's the only chance for me for either of these sides to get to the quarterfinals, and it's Osprey's game of the season. They've whitewashed. They've completely messed up the Pro 14. They're nowhere in that. So if they lose this game to Saracens, they are out of it. Their season is pointless, apart from the Anglo Welsh Cup, which is basically a youth tournament. So it's all down to this. And Sarries obviously love Europe, defending champions, have to go.
Yeah, so that's so before we go on, yes, that's Saturday at 7:45, BT Sport 3.
There we go, William spitting bars again. But yes, for me that's a monumental match. I'll be looking forward to that. I mean, I'm revising because I have exams, but I think that's the one game I'll let myself watch. Because that is a beauty. Because the Ospreys are going to be so up for it as well. But Sarries are coming down with the big boys. They've got Billy's back. So that's going to be a great... I think Sarries will win by around 5 points. I think Ospreys are going to make it very tough.
Yeah. Maybe, well, I don't know. I think Sarries are going to win fairly convincingly. Because I just think they're still so annoyed at themselves for their losing streak. And they've got all their big boys back. I think when you've got Mako, Christopher Tolofua, Vincent Koch, and all those running at you, I think they're going to put Ospreys away quite convincingly.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Just think this is Ospreys' game of the season, so I just don't see them lying down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, Leinster Glasgow.
Yeah, that should be good. We agree. So that's on. I've lost what day that's on now. That's on Sunday, 1 p.m. on Sky.
Well, look at this. He's organising your weekend for you guys.
I got you guys. I got your backs.
Well, Leinster are in control. Leinster can lose this game and still probably win the group. So, actually, I wouldn't say that actually because Montpellier are not going to score. Not going to win by a bonus point against Exeter in Exeter. That's not happening. So Glasgow, for me, Leinster will win this by probably 15 points because Glasgow bottom that group, given up probably. There's no pressure on them, I guess, but Leinster top of that group. The Leinster are playing so well. They have so many good players. It's crazy.
Their squad depth is insane. It's crazy what they've got. They
play the second team in like every week of the Pro 14. I mean, I'm being a bit over dramatic, but they rotate a lot for the Pro 14. Okay. Yeah. And they still, they casually hammer Ulster 38-7. And that's pretty. Yeah, that's without Sexton. That's without Keane Healy. That's without Sean O'Brien. This is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's completely bonkers. So I see them winning. I see them winning that game.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one. I can't really see Glasgow, as you said. They're quite far down the pool. They were probably only going to focus on their Pro 14 games. Leinster are very up for it. They're going to put them away quite nicely, I think. There's too much quality in that squad against a Glasgow side that's probably going to try and rest their star players.
I agree with you. Very interesting game, actually, now. We got, Toulon Treviso.
At 1 p.m. on BT Sport 2.
Yeah, there we go. Toulon, they're actually second in the table, joint on the same points as Bath. So, I mean, they're still really in it. And you'd say on paper this is a game they should win, but Treviso do not lie down like they used to. They will fight Toulon with Toulon, and this won't be. I think Toulon are home, and they're very hard to beat in Stade Mael, so I think Toulon will win. But I wouldn't bet. I'm going to say they're just going to win. I'm not going to say with a bonus point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting actually. So obviously it was a 1 point game last time. Benetani just lost by that 1 point. So
Trandu penalty last. I think it was an extra time.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I was gutting that was. Racing Munster.
Yeah, that's definitely the pick of the Sunday games for me. So 3:15, it's on Sky, that one. It's going to be interesting because Munster have been, in the same way as Leinster, their forward pack has been relentless this season.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about, apparently at the moment in Ireland, lots of forwards are slimming down and upping their engine, so their work rate is insane at the moment compared to a lot of other countries are still trying to put size on. So at the moment, their endeavour is crazy.
Yeah, I can see that. The work rate is completely relentless, and the aggression is relentless as well, and the intensity is. They just kill you. Say that again?
When it comes to Europe, Munster, and they just step it up.
They do. That's a very tough game away at Racing. Racing have just hammered Claremont at home, so the confidence will be high. That's a really fantastic test for both sides there. And also, Racing win, I'm pretty sure they might jump to... Actually, I think I'm incorrect. I don't know, but if they win, they're on the same points as Munster. If they go ahead of them or not, I'm not sure. But if they win that game, if they win that game, Racing, it's all up to play for in that group. If Munster win, then they've basically qualified for the quarterfinals. So it's all up for there. Actually, who are you going? I'm going to go for Racing by 4 points.
See, I'm going to go for Munster by about 3 points. No, sorry, 5. We'll go for 5 points. They're going to be decent.
Oh, actually, I'm going to stick with Racing, but I actually agree with you. I think Munster are going to really rough them up. Cast Leicester, what a shocking game to have. As a last game.
BT, so it's on BT, so we can at least need to watch that one.
Yeah, I guess Leicester, if they win that game and Racing lose, they still got a fighting chance of one of the best runners up, but unlikely considering the points the other sides are on.
I think Leicester need to focus on the Premiership and maybe do what they need to do to, don't give up, but maybe if you need to hold back some players, injury fitness-wise, do it, because they need to get their bread and butter sorted first at the moment. They need to get Premiership standard up.
They do. Castaway is a very, very tough match.
Yeah.
For the current state they're in, when Tigers are struggling to beat the bottom side of the Aviva at home,
Yeah, but then I think we've got to credit London Irish there a bit. The last 2 weeks against Newcastle and Leicester, they have been a lot better.
I agree with you, but they are the bottom side.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They are bottom. But I agree with you. I think I did say earlier. I think they actually played really well.
Yeah. Just making sure we give them credit where it's due. But yeah.
Of course, no. Look, yeah. I think Irish have already picked it up the last 2 weeks. So it's a shame they haven't got a win. They're still not a million miles off though.
No, they're not. No, they're
10 points. Yeah.
Yes, pretty sure it's 10 points now.
Well, I'll check. Yeah, it's 9. It's 9.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, because they got losing bonus point.
Yeah, but Worcester are a good side as well, though. So it's tough, isn't it? It's really tough.
Yeah.
Cast or Leicester? I think Leicester are just going to roll over. I think they'll lose by 5 points.
Yeah, I go by 10 points.
All French teams away aren't easy either.
No, they're not.
They're really not easy. Anyway, I was gonna have a quick discussion about. Well, we were going to have a quick discussion about. We can still do it. We can still do it. We've gone pretty flat out. I think we're going to leave the Challenge Cup out. No disrespect. But this.
There's only so much rugby a man can watch.
There's that, and it's also just this pod's already at 113. So I don't think we. And let's be honest, no one really cares about the Challenge Cup unless you're a Newcastle Falcons fan. And you haven't won any silverware for a while. So yeah, I feel a bit bad saying that, but it's the truth.
The Challenge Cup is very useful again for if you want to blood your wider squad, or if you're really out of form. I know it doesn't help Saints or Tigers at the moment because they're both in the Champions Cup, but if they were in the Challenge Cup, it'd be good for them to try and win some, get just a winning form.
Exactly. I remember Harlequins, they used to win it all the time, 2011, 2012, along those years. And I remember, we'd probably be hovering 6th or 7th in the Prem. Not 2012 because we won it that year, but around those years. And I think we won it in 2010 in Cardiff. It really just it's a huge confidence booster. Just that run and it's silverware. It's silverware at the end of the day. It's something to put in the cabinet.
Yeah, something to get the team together. Bit of a get the mood.
It's also nice seeing the Russian teams in it as well.
Yeah, it's good.
I enjoy seeing that. The more teams we've got playing rugby, the better for me. So I think it is great for that and everything. But we just simply haven't got time to discuss it on anymore. And I also believe if people have got to this stage, then fair play to them. So I think I was going to finish with the Gloucester flanker, Polledri, who's been named in the Italian squad. Who I think has been playing awesome this season so far for Gloucester, who are obviously 4th in the Aviva Premiership this year at the moment. His ball carrying has been excellent. I'm actually, very selfishly from me as an England fan, I'm a bit annoyed he's in the Italy squad. I'd like him just get a cap just so he can play for anyone else.
Just keep him there. He's ours. No, I'd much rather. Obviously, I wouldn't want him to be a one-cap wonder. I'd like to have seen him maybe break into a regular England side sometime in the future. But it's good to see that he's going to have. I think he's going to have a real role within that Italian side for a long time to come because he's just such a high-quality flanker.
He is. His carrying is. He's a very tough man to tackle. That people really struggle. I can see a back row there. Polledri. I'd probably say Abraham Stain 7, and I'd say Parise 8. You can maybe. I know Alexandre Zani, who's been basically exiled by the Italian national team for a year, is back in the squad. So maybe he could put. Go on.
Is Polledri not on open side?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, that's my fault. I said the wrong way around. Yeah, I said the wrong way around. Actually, yeah. What I'm saying is that I can see. That's a back row I could see working. Is Stain, Polledri, Parise, something like that. But maybe Zan. I can see them wanting ball carriers because they don't actually have that many in the pack Italy. And obviously with Parise, Zani and Polledri, they are definitely ball carriers. But it also brings us back to the argument earlier of, well, England don't have a genuine 7. I guess they do. Would you call Underhill a genuine 7?
I'd definitely call him a genuine Eddie Jones 7 because Eddie Jones seems to want his 7s just to work so hard on tackling, just be a brick wall, put people down. But I think his breakdown work is going to start improving, I think. And I think it is still pretty good, but it's not, you wouldn't say it's international level 7 quality yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. But going back to Italy, I think a back row containing Parise, Polledri, then whoever else you want to put there is very exciting for Italian rugby. And I look for, hopefully, no injuries. And we get to see that at Six Nations, because I'd really enjoy that.
That'd be good.
Anyway, I'll just finish on. I'm not going to talk much about university rugby because there's literally been no games for ages because of Christmas and everything and New Year. So I'll just go over the table. Exeter 1st, Cardiff Met 2nd, Northumbria 3rd, Leeds Beckett 4th, Loughborough 5th, Bath 6th, 7th Hartbury, 8th Durham, 9th Nottingham Trent, who seem to be gone at the bottom of the table with 2 points. Sorry for all my sniffling, by the way, guys. I'm really ill, so I'm trying not to help it. But anyway, that's the Bucks Super Rugby League. Go to unirugby.co.uk. Check it out if you're a university student and you're listening to this and you play rugby, because they actually have match reports for all the unis in the UK that play rugby, most of them anyway. So check it out. This has been episode 7, and that's. Well, Ali will say bye.
Yeah, goodbye, folks.
Goodbye. Cheers.